Hey guys and gals, Jim back here. Another little quick video of what I got going on now. Now, I know in the last video I forgot to mention on the plaster base that I did. I didn't paint the plaster; it's just a natural color like an off-white. The sand, the salt flats and everything isn't the pure white; it's like an off-white. So I just left the plaster the natural color. It might have darkened up a little bit because I did spray everything down with my flat testers, my flat coat. So, but anyway, I talked about when I make bases for my kits. A lot of times, if it's just a model with no lights, I just use a like a 1x type pine board or something like that, or a piece of the density, the medium density fiber board like that. It's inexpensive and stuff, you know. If you're just going to mount the model, even if you're going to put a little brass rod or something to hold it up, you know, that suffices fine. But like when I make my bases, I know I'm going to be lighting something especially, and run wiring underneath and all that. So this is a little piece I cut off my base when I did my 350 Katinga and all that. I made it square originally. I didn't like it, so I wanted it to be like an octagon shape. So I I cut 4 of the corners off. So this is a little cross section, so you can kind of see I got my my 1x2s. I got my hobby plywood there, and then I got my little square dowels that you can pick up at Menards or any hobby shop that sells balsa wood and stuff like that. These are actually popular. I pick them up at Menards. They're dirt cheap. You can get all different you know, sizes, you know, squares and stuff. So, but that's what it looks like. Now, if I'm going to run a rod through this for lighting with a brass tube, I want a little bit more strength for that rod than just what the plywood's gonna carry. So I'll glue another block in there, and I'll drill through that, and then I'll run my rod about halfway through that block, and then drill a smaller hole to run my wiring through, but it won't let the rod pass all the way through, and it'll fall through. And then I just 5-minute epoxy everything in the hole to keep the rod in place and all that. But that's basically how I make my my bases and stuff for my models. Even my big 350 Enterprise, even though the base is very huge, well, that one's got lighting in the base, so there's a couple sheets of plywood that I cut out the Star Trek and a little border ring around there. Then I put a piece of clear acrylic in there, and then I got a piece of solid piece of acrylic, and then I got my lighting underneath that, so the lighting only shows through what I cut out for the Star Trek lettering and all that stuff. But that video, you can see that goes back a year or so ago or whatever. So, but anyway, this is what I'm working on now. I'm doing the Super Star Destroyer. I am lighting the engines. Somebody lit this with SMD in each engine. How they came up with enough room for all the wiring and all that, I have no idea. There's so much little space in here. I'm using 0.50 millimeter fiber optics, and I blossomed them out. I drilled the engines. You got to be careful. You can't drill straight through. You got to drill the engines on an angle so everything stays inside. Otherwise, if you try to drill straight on a lot of them, it'll just come out the back side of the engine, and you'll mess up your model kit. There's a lot of trimming you got to do to the pieces to get the fiber optic cables to run through from the different areas. You gotta you know, cut out little channels with your X-Acto. On this bottom piece here, I had to cut out little channels from the engines where they run, and I also had to cut out little channels. There's like a little lip on that bottom piece, like a wall. I had to cut that so the fibers wouldn't get crushed. Once I got everything glued in place, then I just filled a little gap back in with the canopy glue. So, and then once I paint it, you'll never know that I had to cut everything. Now I didn't. There's not really a lot of room in there for an LED either. So what I did, I just ran fiber optic strands all the way through my brass tube, and then I'll run those through the base, and then I'll run them into the tube with an LED in there. It's going to be a red LED, probably using a a white one, and then I'm going to tint it. I don't use, for my LEDs when I tint them, I don't use the Tamiya or the Model Master Clears. The LEDs do tend to heat a little bit, not real hot like a light bulb, but they get a little warm. And what happens is right on the tip, the rounded surface, that colored paint, it will heat up and it'll fade away or melt away. So I found that out. So what I use, I soak my LEDs in food coloring and plastic. Even though it's a hard plastic, they still will tint themselves, and it's more permanent. It's almost like staining something. So like if you spill cranberry juice or wine on something, it leaves a permanent stain. Food coloring will color your LEDs. It'll also work on clear plastic parts too. And you gotta, just let them soak to your liking, and however dark you want them to be. So, but I'm working on that. I ordered the kit, being it was readily available. It wasn't much more to get the 2-in-1, rather than just the single Super Star Destroyer. I got a few more of these little regular Star Destroyers around. I am working this one. I'm going to light the engines too. I know I did one a while back on a little diorama where I did the side trenches. This one I'm just going to do the engines, and this is my base back there. I'm going to do one like up in the corner down here, and one the Super Star Destroyer further back, and it'll be sitting a little higher, so it'll be like a perspective type deal, And I do have another one of the Death Stars, the little tiny Death Star model. I'll put that a little higher up in the back corner, and that way it'll be like a perspective of all the three different deals like that. So, but that's what I'm working on now. Hopefully have it finished up in about another week or that. Pretty much this one's ready for paint and all, and then this one I still got a light block inside. I'm only going to use fiber optics for the engines. I already got the holes drilled out, and I'm just going to put an LED, run the wires through. I'm not going to do any other lighting as far as the side trenches, because I don't want this one to be all lit up and this one that. So I figured, being that they're in two different scales, kind of like a forced perspective, I'm just going to go that route. So, but I am working on one of these. I'm lighting it just like the bigger ones. I did manage to get all the bridge, the tower. I got fiber optics all running into it. A lot of tedious work drilling small enough holes to run about 12 or 14 fiber optic strands up in there, and then run them down through there, glue everything together without melting the fibers. I've already got the main superstructure. I've got it all drilled out. I got little holes along these here raised surfaces drilled out. I've got the side trenches drilled out. I got the shuttle bay or whatever, the landing bay. I got that'll be lit up and everything, just like my larger Revell one that I did. I'm going to do this one the same way. That one's in the process. That's like an on and off project because it's a lot of little tedious. The smallest drill bits I could find, like number 82s or something, I probably broke about 6 of them just working on drilling out all the little holes for it. But this is what I'm doing now. It's going to be a little diorama, just the engines lit up on these and all that. And so I wanted to give you a little idea what I'm doing. Other than that, the only other after this, I'm probably going to get off of the Star Wars stuff for a while. I might do a couple little dioramas with just static display Millennium Falcons. Like I said, there's 3 different versions, those 350 ones. Just little different scenes with them alone as standalone models. Then I'm going to get back. I got my NX01 and NX01 refit 1000 scale. They won't be lit. They'll just be painted up to look as if they're lit. I want to finish those up, and then the next project after those is going to be probably the 1/44 scale Force Awakens Millennium Falcon with the photo etch lighting and all the whole 9 yards. So that's what I got planned, and then I'll probably squeeze somewhere down the line. I got my 1989 Batmobile. I got a Dodge Charger, a 68 Dodge Charger kit. That's always been one of my favorites. I want to build that, and pretty much that's pretty much about my plans for probably about the next 3, 4, 5 months. So sometimes I do a whole bunch of videos, Sometimes there might be a few weeks in between videos. I'm not planning on doing any build series on the Millennium Falcon because there are so many out there on a 1/44 scale Millennium Falcon. So I'm just going to keep it simple, build it up and everything. You know, if I decide to show, you know, how far I am along with the build, I may do that, but it's not going to be like a weekly series or a daily series, like step by step or nothing like that. So, so hopefully you guys enjoyed all my little diorama models, and you know, if there's any, you know, gave some of you guys ideas what you can do with some of these little Bandai kits and all that. So till the next time, again, thanks for subscribing, thanks for hitting the like button, thanks for all the great comments you guys leaving. Again, if you want to get a hold of me, you know where to find my email in the descriptions on the videos. And happy modeling. I know it's still a while away, but the holidays are sneaking up real quick. In case I forget to tell everybody down the line, everybody make sure you have a safe and happy holiday season, as well as your families. So till the next time, take care, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. Bye.